Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Strategic Feminine here on Live. And of course, we always focus on all things feminine, all things girly, all things womanly in essence. And if you're interested in that type of thing, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the video. So, we're going to be talking about black fatigue, some of the things that I've been seeing swirling the internet, and just overall race politic, I assume, because it just seems like it's getting really ghetto here in America. Like it's just getting very, very, very to the point where very little decorum is being used, even on online spaces. Like you see people on like acting in ways that you know they would never act in real life. You have people saying things that they would never say in real lives, really popping, like literally. And it's to the point where no one even has any decorum. Like, not even our official elected representatives. Let's be for real. They're not acting in any bit of professionalism. They're not acting like they are actually educated. And I noticed that that's a trend everywhere in America, that we are pretty brash. We're loud with our opinions. We're usually wrong. And then not only that, we seem to have like it just is a weird hatred, a strange hatred for the poor. Now, the reason why I say that you guys are developing a strange, weird hatred for other marginalized groups, like it's not even just one group in specific. It's like anywhere on social media or on YouTube, it seems like everybody is picking up the same cross, which is, oh, let's trash on the marginalized groups of people who are living in America and have to talk I what else can I call it? Harassment, oppression, if that's that. You have people really just, explaining that we deal with real stuff here in America all the time. It's not sunshine and rainbows. And it seems like you have people not really wanting to admit that fact. Let's start with the black fatigue thing. As somebody who is a creator, who makes black centered conversations, topics, I don't have this black fatigue that y'all are like claiming so proudly. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, when I first heard it, I'm like, black what? What is that, girl? Like, my face was like the husband in the B movie on my thumbnail. Like, I'm kind of looking at y'all like y'all a little stupid. Like, what is black fatigue? Y'all are just making up more stuff to try to run away from the responsibility of the fact that as a black person, you do have to push, the agenda forward, right? We are committed to, as black Americans in specific, being black excellent, expansion, but not only that, never facing discrimination in the way that we have in the past, which was through slavery, right? That is most black Americans' goal, to be so educated to the point where we're not going back to slavery, whether mental slavery, poverty slavery. We're just trying to make sure that we never have our bloodline back in a spot where they're impoverished or disadvantaged like we were in the centuries that slavery took place in. You know what I mean? But that ain't got nothing to do with this black fatigue stuff. Y'all are making this seem as though black fatigue is the reason why you're not going to stand up and stand out and represent your own race in a positive way or defend your race in a positive way like other races do. So we talk like it was a huge discussion back in the day, staying on code. And I feel like black people have kind of lost that a little bit. Like the part of staying on code is you stay on code for everybody, not just your particular niche of people. You know what I mean? But whatever. Let's let them explain in their own words what black fatigue is. And then after that, we can kind of explain a little bit of why I don't have it. And I can't relate. I can't relate to the black fatigue that y'all are explaining. But, you know, I do empathize. And of course, you can always,
Black
leave like a comment. Let me know how you think.
longer. No nationality wants to be involved or bothered by this loud, obnoxious group of people. No one, not even hardworking black Americans. I mean, I'm telling no lies here. Everywhere that group of people go, chaos follows. And no matter where you go, they're there. You can't go on a cruise ship because they done ghettoed it out. Have you seen the Carnival cruise ships? It looks like a fucking barbecue. And if you haven't noticed, it's always the same group of people. You know, loud, bonnets, pajamas, big ass eyelashes that flutter. You know, the EBT crowd. I mean, it's gotten so bad that you won't catch me at a Juicy Crab or a Cheesecake Factory or even a McDonald's for that matter, because they turn those places into shooting galleries whenever someone that looks like them look at them wrong. They have mastered the victim card. Everyone's against them. There's oppression everywhere. And it's always the white man's fault, never their own. But let one of them tell it. They would have you believe that the police is the most dangerous thing within their communities. Wrong. You're the most dangerous thing in your community, which is why the police are there in the first place, to stop you from committing genocide against your own people. Look, no one's going to stay silent to this toxic behavior. And you can call me all the Uncle Toms that you want. But the fact that you're calling me that shows me that I'm saying something with facts. And you wonder why most good black people move out of those communities as soon as they reach success. It's because they want more for themselves. And that crab in a barrel mindset is not conducive to prosperity. There is absolutely no accountability in that community. Most of that segment hate accountability. They hate truth. They hate to look at themselves in the mirror because they would have to face the fact that they're causing their own oppression. You also have the Democrat Party to thank for spoon feeding that behavior, making you a permanent underclass, and you still vote blue no matter who. But America is tired, and people have grown numb to your constant cry of racism. Everyone's a racist who doesn't agree with you. But meanwhile, you can be bigots to everybody else. But yes, I say it again, black fatigue or ghetto fatigue is real, and it's time that we say something about it. And
All right, mister. Now, he said a lot. Now, I am going to agree with parts of it, parts that I can agree with, right? I do understand that if wherever you come from, you detect that this is a crabs in the barrel mentality, you're not able to prosper, you feel as though there's a lot of struggle mentality going on, survival mode. It is okay to call an environment that. It is okay to understand the signs of when you've outgrown a place. I definitely agree with that 110%. Now, will someone drop a like so I can know that you guys can hear me and that everything is going copacetic as far as the audio is concerned? How is the audio? Testing, testing. One, two, three. I definitely agree. Like, I understand, you know what? You may feel like you want better for people who don't want better for themselves. And I was in a space like that because a year ago to the date, right? I think I was feeling some of this, black fatigue that y'all are talking about. I maybe didn't associate with my blackness, but I could understand being tired of my environment, be growing beyond my environment and wanting something bigger, wanting to fill up more space, wanting to have like a great like a different experience, a different story. I wanted to have light and fluffiness and like I didn't see that where I was at, you know what I'm saying? So I could understand being burnt out in those senses. And I also understand, you know what, being tired of certain livelihoods, certain like ways of life. But what y'all are doing is actually aiding in the ways that we typically aid in our own demise. What y'all are trying to make it do is seem like y'all are making a ghetto's black people's problem for like your uncomfortable situation, and what you're trying to do is essentially distance yourself by having discourse about the quote unquote ghetto blacks. But if you know anything about the ghettos, the projects, like those entities are most of the time city made. Like they're city made, those are history made. There's an oppressive system to keep people in those environments. And when you get to like being around there, I also feel like it's a little bit of spiritual energy too. Like I feel like the closer to the hood you get, like the lower the vibration is overall. Um, so I understand not wanting to associate yourself with that type of way of life, that type of living. But at the same time, here's the problem with black people, and this is why I can't take y'all seriously. Y'all will sit there and be entertained by the things that ghetto black people do. You have a lot of people who would associate with the ghetto black aesthetic, with ghetto black culture. You have people that like to fake associations with ghetto black culture too. That's another thing that people like to do. And y'all have made it to a point, not just like the generation that is here right now having these discussions, but the generations before us, y'all have made it so hoodness, struggle are all synonymous with being black. And that's just not true. Every black person does not have any type of association to the hood, don't have any reverence for it. Like every black person, that's not their story. And we can understand that. And I think that's kind of where the fatigue is coming from, being told or being represented in a way where, oh, this is what you have to look forward to, but also saying in the back of your mind, this isn't aligned with who I am personally. And just because we share the skin tone, that does not mean that I share the mentality of the quote unquote ghetto blacks. Now, by nature, the poor of any group of people are going to be the least educated. That's just by nature. Okay. That's how it works. That's how poverty usually works. You know, it's a lack of education and resources wrapped into oppression. To already want to sit there and build your high horse off of tearing down an already marginalized group of people, by the way, it's kind of weird. So, like, no, you beat black people with this quote unquote black fatigue. Y'all are not off the case in my book. I feel like y'all are weird. I feel like what y'all want to do is make it seem as though, like, ghetto black people are the reason why your life isn't the way it needs to be or should be, or the comfortability wasn't there, when quite honestly, it's the people who benefit off of uneducated, underprivileged black people even existing in America today. Y'all aren't willing to call that out. That's unpopular because then, you know, you're messing up your money.
And please don't waste your time. If it don't apply, let it fly. Black fatigue or ghetto fatigue is a real thing, and no one's staying silent about it any longer. No nationality wants to be involved or bothered by this loud, obnoxious group of people. No one, not even hardworking.
When I say I would quite literally rather burn everything I own and then piss and shit on the ashes and then go live in the fucking mountains before I ever paid reparations, I mean that.
It's not the fact that her video where she talks about not wanting to pay reparations to African American got 20,000 likes. That got my attention. A lot of people don't want to pay reparations, but what got my attention was the comments and the things she was saying and liking. No, this woman is a full-on grace. In the comments, she said, even if I owned slaves yesterday, I still wouldn't pay. She says, not to mention the cities they've destroyed, the men who died to free these hominids. Hominids are like apes, monkeys, gorillas, also humans. She made this video on one of her accounts. She has two.
Mm-hmm. I better never see no white bitch wearing no braids. Mm-hmm.
This woman is literally going on a full-on rage, and they're backing her up, man. I'm telling you, if I wasn't married, hey, I am too. And I guess she's married. What phenotype is this? They went on to type N. She put I. Somebody else put G. G. No, this is insane. This gets so insane that I can't even put these. I swear to God, freeing them was not worth it. She is posting as we speak.
When I say I would quite literally rather burn everything I own.
Black fatigue is real. Lakeisha last night. Sabrina the night before that. Ugh. Black fatigue is real. Lakeisha last night. Sabrina the night before that. Ugh.
And for white people to even let black fatigue come out their mouth is insane. Like 400 plus years of oppression been going on, and y'all got the nerve to say y'all got black fatigue. I'm exhausted suffering from white fatigue. Because since I've been a little girl, that's all I've been seeing on the commercials, Revlon, all these white soap operas. And you go in public, it's white businesses everywhere. Then you got white people coming into black neighborhoods with gentrification. You got the white school systems. Like, bro, black people been here white fatigue. I don't know if y'all notice or not, but y'all been a big problem. We go to be at our own communities, here y'all come. We go build our own businesses, aka Black Wall Street and other places that, were up and thriving for black people. Y'all want to come burn it down. Black cities be built for black people to be away from y'all. Since we fatiguing y'all so bad, here y'all come again. Want to burn it down. Black people go and thrive and build their own farms. Here y'all come, want to burn them up. Y'all.
And I'm going to let her finish, but I'm so glad she brought up Black Wall Street because it's like y'all are choosing to be ignorant about your history. Like y'all are choosing to, and this is what I can't stand about that pull yourself up by the bootstraps type of advice because it's always disingenuous. It's always fake. It's never really supposed to help. It's all about, notice how ever since everyone started holding everybody accountable, everyone needs to be held accountable. Now everybody's calling everybody out in the name of accountability. That's been the name of the game for years now, right? Notice that accountability usually is just a buzzword for making someone hold all of the responsibility for an action or multiple actions that may have not reacted positively. But whenever there's something good going on, like everybody wants to somehow take credit or be like the face until it's something negative and then you want to hold someone accountable. So what I see with this black fatigue, I see a lot of black people because I haven't really heard from the white side. Like what have the white people been saying about this black fatigue, y'all? Like I don't know. Like do white people experience black fatigue? Like are y'all tired of black people too? But when I see it from the black side, I really see that it's almost like black people that are more advantaged or at a better, socioeconomic standing or what have you, right? Better education, what have you. It almost as if they look down on ghetto black people for existing instead of looking down on the system that created them in the first place. And that's like so ass backwards. Like that's just like the weirdest thing to do. Like it's almost as if you're blaming the victim yet again. And do I think that grown adults are victims? No. But when you actually see the prison industrial complex at in work, when you see like all of your friends or all of your classmates, your peers become some type of a statistic, it makes you realize that really it is above you. It's above me. So a year ago, when I did feel like I was above a particular type of black person, or I disassociated from the Keishas and the, whatever um, weirdo stereotype you want to input here, you have to sit here and realize that these quote unquote ghetto black people are nothing but people first. And y'all are so scared to say that bit because part of humanizing them would mean that you would have to take their struggles, their impacts, their oppressions seriously. So you notice how when it's everybody else's oppression, they want you to listen, they want you to make sweeping changes, but then when it's your own oppression, they have the same old grab yourself up by the bootstraps mentality, aka meaning we're not going to lend any support to changing the disadvantaged situation that you're in right now. We just want you to get over it. Y'all are kind of weird. And this way of thinking, this mentality is spreading itself all over social media. Like nobody is willing to say anything different because they're afraid of being labeled as someone who's social justice warriors, which it's also kind of weird to watch people try to make it uncool to care about what's happening in the political sphere. Like that's kind of weird to me. I understand not letting it consume you, not like, crying and throwing up over it. That makes sense. That's what normal people should do. But to make it seem uncool to be educated about the political and economic sphere, oh my gosh, like I feel like people are choosing to go back. Like when they said bring shame back, y'all are bringing shame to all the wrong shit. Like, why are y'all trying to make it seem like being educated on what's going on globally, socially, like within your culture, outside your culture, like that's uncool. Okay, honey. We have women, black women, white women, all types of women who died for these rights before y'all are so willing to throw them away, behind social media influence. And that's kind of weird too. But I'm noticing like this type of rhetoric everywhere, but they're not willing to hold the quote unquote status quo accountable. They really do just want to, I don't know how else to say it, but like really just take a big old shat on already marginalized people who society has already shattered on. Oh, they're already a statistic. They're already a baby mama. They're already, in the prison industrial complex. They're already damaged goods as far as society is concerned. We should use these people to make us feel better. And I see people do this like in the ways that I see other race people do that is that they will disassociate from criminals. Like, because they've never done a crime before, they think that when criminals face an injustice, it's the criminal's fault because they would never be in the prison industrial complex if they weren't a criminal, right? And these are the same people who don't try to educate themselves on how often people get falsely accused of crimes and all types of stuff that I'm not going to get into. I don't care that much, but I'm just saying, like, they don't know even the investigative process that police use and how sometimes police in their own environments can be bending the rules in their favor, right? Like they're not even educated on the ins and outs of what real life things have to go down for you to end up in these sort of quote unquote complexes, but they will disassociate from their struggle because it can never be me. I'm not a criminal. You know what I mean? When all it takes is one off day, being at the wrong place at the wrong time for you to unfairly be a criminal, or rightfully so. You know what I mean? Especially when they do commit crimes, they just haven't gotten caught yet. It's just like the weirdest thing to me. It's the weirdest thing. So that's what I'm seeing a lot of on all the internet streets that I'm going through. It just seems like wherever people are on their quote unquote hierarchical thinking, they're creating their own caste system, like in every type of word. They're creating their own beauty caste system. You see that with the pretty privileged girls. They're trying to make beauty a caste system when we just acknowledge that with body positivity and the colorism movement that beauty is for everybody, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But no, they're trying to make it back to be a quote unquote caste system. Okay, you have that even with the political sphere. They are trying to make it quote unquote poor people's problem to why they're complaining about the economy. Because if you remember, oh, forgive me. Who was this? Who was this man? Someone tell me. Who was like, y'all need to get off the couch and stop eating the Cheetos and smoking the medical marijuana, and you're gonna get off these food stamps and these VA benefits and stuff. And this is why I gotta be careful. When y'all make it seem as though the struggle doesn't exist, you give these white people the permission, or the people in power, not necessarily white people, but people in power, elites, the great elites, you give them the opportunity and the permission to go ahead and also shat on the marginalized experience either. But what I notice is poor people like to make fun of other poor people, or middle class people like to make fun of other middle class people, but they only get offended when the real elites actually start being discriminatory. That's what I noticed. Everybody on their YouTube streets, everybody in their mama on the day-to-day life, they feel okay with having their unfair complexes, appealing to any type of ism to get what they want. Like they are think that that's okay and that's well within their rights as an American. But then when you try to hold the, and then when we look at, oh, well, why are these people being racist? Why are these elites getting away with all of this unfair warfare? Y'all think they care about that? Look how much dirt we do on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm glad you brought up Black Wall Street because y'all are making it seem like poor Black people created themselves. You know, now we are many generations far removed from a lot of the major projects that have happened. But even as someone who I consider myself to be very successful, I'm first generation successful, y'all. I don't have a long established line of people, you know, having that advantage. Everything that I create is being created off, you know, the first hands back. So it's kind of weird to see how people are trying to adopt this elitist personality when, guys, we're only a few generations removed from the BS. Like, be careful before you go ahead and greenlight something that you're not ready for, which is them completely taking away benefits and all types of crap. But that's just my thoughts.
Hi, have you heard people talking about this term called black fatigue? I've heard several people on social media mention it in the last few days, and what it is that now we're seeing all of these black people that are angry about things that most of us would never even think about. Like if you notice that in this weekend we had all of these black elected officials that were out in front defending all of these gang members that are from other countries, gang members who are going to be deported by ICE for criminal activities. Now, the reason that that's associated with black fatigue is because we're seeing that our black elected officials throughout the country are now being used to support people that our communities would never defend. People who have preyed on our communities. I've never seen a protest defending any of the black gangs in the United States. I promise you, please find one and send it to me. Unless it was something that was major, like a shooting that was unjustified or something like that, you don't even see black Congress people out defending them. You don't see black mayors defending them, our own black gangs. But for some reason, we have all of these black elected officials that are now defending all of these criminals from other countries. That's a part of black fatigue. We're tired of it. We're tired of being used by globalists. And you know, one thing I heard years ago, I heard a comment that some of the globalists had made that they were going to bring down the United States by using black people because we would start using the term racism whenever anything happened and we would not concentrate on important things. He said that we were the easiest to manipulate. And now I think we're seeing the result of that. That black women are allowing themselves to be used by globalists, and the globalists are doing things that I would say probably 95% or even higher of black people would not defend, but they are putting us out in front to fight.
Now she is talking some game. Now what it like she's talking some game. And I wanted to say like what she's saying is reminding me so much of that statue debacle that happened in NYC. Like this is some UK man, right? Who's half black, has close associations with his white mother and has a white wife, but made a statue of representing the quote unquote average black woman, you know, and you had certain people literally defending that, like literally like, hey, I'm okay with your depiction of us, like that was a-okay, so much so that they were going against the people like me who were saying, hey, we could have had anybody be the model of that statue. Like it didn't have to be that. Don't you understand that there's an agenda being at play here? So I agree with what they're saying. Okay, Sunkiss Beauty says I agree. That's why I speak on self sufficiency on my channel in high regard. It's unnecessary, especially when I know my own Black family is a part of the gatekeeping. I have to do it on my own as well. Hey, I will be here for a few. I hope you and everyone else are doing wonderful. Yes. Oh my gosh. Hey, and so another Jordan Peele. I just think I also agree. I also agree. A lot of what we have been focusing on hasn't been that of things that will actually progress the quote unquote black race. Not even here in America, not here like universally. We haven't even gotten to a spot where there's black people all around the world collecting, pulling together like world leaders of black folks internationally collecting together. You know how powerful that should be or could be, but it just is not our reality for today. And a lot of it is because of the Willie Lynch syndrome. A lot of the Willie Lynch syndrome, if y'all haven't heard of it, is just it's a little bit of an excerpt. I'm pretty sure most people have heard of it. It's so popular, but I'll just read off a little bit. It's basically a divide and conquer tactic used amongst the races, and they used it as a study against like black enslaved people. They studied black enslaved people, and by studying black enslaved people, they noticed how they could get them agitated, and by getting them agitated, they were able to distract them long enough to have them fighting each other and not fighting the system, which was them, the oppressors, the colonizers. They made it seem like, oh, well, these black people are the problem, instead of the people who had them there, which were the white slave owners, the conquerors. So, colonizers, if you will. So that's why it's like interesting to me how easy people forget and throw common sense out the window, to hop on talking points. And I, girl, it's funny to me. It's funny to me, but that's why I always try to remember where I come from. I think knowing my history in all of this does make me a stronger, a more sounder black person. Like easy as like when I think of my quote unquote history, regardless good or bad and different, like all types of things that I think about, I don't look down on it. I don't think that I could do better than that. I acknowledge that I do better of it because of people fighting so hard for us to get to this type of freedom today. And that's why I don't share those sentiments. Like I feel like this is the best time to ever be a black person. Like fight me for saying so. I'm glad to be a black person today. I would not there would never be another time that I would want to be a black person but today. So this is the best time to quote unquote be alive, and you have people crying and whining about a made up phrase, which is black fatigue. And I've been seeing that a lot of y'all aren't really serious about stopping the fatigue. Y'all just want to complain about the people. Y'all just want to complain about the people who y'all are tired of. Do black people move out of the hood once they get some money? Is that true? Is that a very true statement? Is that like a common phenomenon when black people get some money, they move out of the hood, they don't want to be around other black people, quote unquote? Or if they do want to be around black people, they got to be a particular type of black person. Um, I've heard of that before. I've heard of that before. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of the Willie Lynch expert. So let me know what y'all think.
Broke on occasions. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple miles back. And you're not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprisings, slaves are running away, your crops are sometimes left in the fields too long for maximum profit, you suffer occasional fires, your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not have to elaborate. I'm not here to enumerate your problems. I'm here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 400 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and I make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantations, status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on the hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old versus the old black male versus the young black male, the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male and the male versus the female. You must also have white servants and overseers who distrust all black, but it's necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must.
What did they say? They said you have to have overseers who are black, distrust everything that is black, which is y'all on the internet. Y'all are the overseers that sit there, and anytime a black person says something outside of the gumdrop narrative that you want to push out about being a black person, how it's all pride and we never look down, and the people that do look down or have actually been affected by the overall complexes that are real and were set out to destroy us as a race. If anyone talks about that and hasn't just defeated it as a whole, if we do not have victory stories, you're basically saying we don't exist. Oh, so the black people in the hood, because they have not been victorious over racism, like just all oppression, making money, getting educated. Yes, we got people that are probably three generations educated of black folks. But that didn't happen to everybody. And the people who try to control everyone's narrative and make it seem like it's embarrassing to talk about, injustices, they are the problem. You guys are the problem, not people talking about injustices. It's the overseers trying to make it seem like, oh, we don't want that to get on Massa's table. We don't want that to get on Massa's plate. We don't want Massa to know that we feel bad because of his racism and colorism. We should keep that to ourselves. You guys are clowns.
Love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kids are your keys to control them. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen.
Straight in front of you. For some people, it may be real simple to get. For others, they might need a little bit of explanation on what the picture may stand for. But basically, at the bottom of the picture, you see two young black men, one with a gun pointed to his head, the other one with a gun in his hand, and he's pointing the gun. And attached to the gun, you see a string. Attached to his wrist, you see a string. And attached to his elbow, you see a string. And if you go to the left, you see a hand and strings attached to the fingers. Sort of like he's in control of everything the young black men do. And I'm going to show you how this connects to the Willie Lynch letter that he wrote in 1712, and it's 2010. And in the letter, he said, this may last for 300 to 1,000 years. And the plan he implemented is still here today. We still hate each other. We still talk about the old black men, young black men. It's a generation gap. We talk about dark skin, light skin. Everything he implemented in his letter, we still struggle with it today. So basically, if you got enough time where you can go read the Willie Lynch letter and see how it affects you every day, I think you would gladly appreciate it. So I just want to thank everybody. It's Dash.
And of course, what he said mostly relates to black men and their experiences with racism, of course, they have a lot of issues with violence and stuff like that because, of course, of the prison industrial complex. That's not necessarily our struggle though. I think more the colorism and stuff like that. But I feel like for black women, we don't have like those violent. Um, it's not like black women's struggle is they can't stay in and out of jail. Like they not. That's not us. So I won't. I understand, you know, I get what he's saying. I agree with what he's saying. But for women, it may translate, it may not translate. I think for women, when we go through our disparities and stuff, it's a lot more, it's micro, it's covert. A lot of our oppression is covert. A lot of our humiliation is also covert. So it does have some of those undertones of being disparaging, being rooted in stereotypes, but it's so hard to prove, especially with that statue. Like it's hard to prove that he was definitively being funny and placing the statue. Like you cannot prove his intention or motivation behind it. The only thing you could do is react to it. So I guess that's what I'm thinking about black fatigue. I get it. Like I get it, girl. Y'all are tired of hearing about ghetto black people, but understand the reason why ghetto black people exist is due to oppression and no other reason. There would be no projects, there would be no drugs, there would be no CIA heist missions and getting black people hooked on crack. That wouldn't have existed. There would be none of this today if there was no bombing and, perpetually just bothering the black people who are creating something for themselves. If that wasn't the history of America, there would be no projects to be like trying to be funny about. Or there would be no uneducated black people that you would be trying to make think pieces on in your TikTok. Like, are y'all actually committed to making a change, or are y'all just committed to maintaining and flexing the little bit of power America does give you? Because for some people it is a flex to say, hey, I'm educated, I'm college educated. For some people it is also a flex to say, I don't live you know in the inner city hood urban environment. But if that's you, which that's okay for it to be you, don't adopt it's a verse in the Bible, and it's hard, I can't think of it, so somebody help me out here. But essentially what God was saying was, you know you hate the poor but love the rich, and they keep you poor. It was something like that, and it was essentially just calling out humans and their double standards, first of all, and their simple-minded way of rationale and thinking, right? So you're going to closely try to align yourself with the poor that will be oppressing people in order to keep their power. um, and it just shows how we try to approximate ourselves to whatever type of privilege we can grasp. Like it just is what it is. You see it with pretty privilege, you see it with rich privilege, you see it with education privilege, you see it with people trying to make it seem like it's a flex to not be a ghetto black person now. You know, now we're going to try to go back to being elitist in classes. Now, I agree. Ghetto black people had no business being the face of us for so many years. I agree on that. I think we can all agree that it was embarrassing to sit there and whenever, politicians try to reach out to the black people, they have Megan the Stallion twerking on stage. That's embarrassing. That's black fatigue. That's something that I feel like, hey, stop doing that. That's not how you connect with black people. We are intelligent. We have lawyers. We have attorneys. We have people who we actually want to speak to that are really educated, not just, socially known. So I agree. I agree in a lot of aspects. And then in other aspects, I think that we really do have to be better and just read into certain things better. Like it's easy to hop on a wave, right? People are just saying stuff just to say stuff and have their 15 minutes. But watch what you let stick. Watch what you actually associate yourself to and approximate yourself to, because those ways of thinking actually consume you as a person. And to think that you're going to be elitist, to think that you're going to try to be classist in a world that don't have your black ass best heart at all at ever at mention, regardless of how much money you have, how much talent you have. You see time and time again, they strip black people of whatever they have when they do not act in the accordance to the system that they have acquired all of this money and success from. Again, that part of the system is you don't have the power. We loan the power to you. So people are so thirsty off loaned power that y'all think that once the mission is complete, they won't throw you by the wayside too. And whatever talking point you had, once these laws get passed and once they're able to not actually lend assistance to the poor people, because regular middle class been saying we have poor people fatigue for the past 2 years, right? Once y'all actually make it to where they're able to do what they want to do anyway, which is disadvantage the poor even more than they had to, and not be responsible for it in the name of accountability, when you happen like to fall on hard times or whatever so happened to you as a person, it'll already be too late because you already aided in the system that was only intended on robbing you of your labor. You know what I'm saying? That's why we get paychecks while we make corporations millions and millions of dollars and we get paid every 2 weeks on breadcrumbs. That's how the system kind of works. And if you're still somewhat in that system, which a lot of us still are, because 9 to 5s, everyone has a 9 to 5. I feel like God bless you if you don't, but I'm just saying most people do. You're still engaging in parts of that system. And I'm not saying you have to be committed to tearing it down, but at the very least, be aware so you know to be self sufficient. Part of being self sufficient is, and I think Black people lost self sufficiency when they moved to the city. Okay. City Black folks don't know nothing about being self sufficient. At least Black people in the country, like, they have their own land, they have their own homes. It may not be like, waterfront property or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but they will have their own generational wealth that has been able to accumulate over the past generations. Even if it has just been like four since slavery, like 3 or 4, they have accumulated wealth. City Black people don't have that same advantage because a lot of them were hit with hard times when jobs were insecure. So I don't know. That's what I think. That's what I think. I also, how long have I been on here? 46 minutes and 54 seconds. Okay. What do I want to talk about now? Girl, y'all have been tearing Haley Bailey up. That's not funny. It is funny though, because we told her that that nigga was no good. Like, the problem with Haley Bailey was that the whole relationship, everyone said, don't do it. You know, those relationships where like you with a man or you talking to somebody, but like the whole time folks is like in your ear, like, nah, don't do it. Nah, nah, don't do that. That's not smart. This man ain't nothing to play with. So we're going to read what USA Today has to say about the accusations, because it's not just about them co-parenting anymore at this point. Haley Bailey is taking legal action. So it's definitely something to note. I don't know. I guess in the girl specter, if I had to like consider myself having black fatigue about like particular topics, it is the baby daddy topic. Like, I feel like girlies, we be telling y'all time and time again how to avoid baby daddies, like with like a plague, right? All some girls talk about is how to avoid becoming a baby mama. And yet and still you have people who read head first into being an unwedded mother of young children by low earning men who have no real commitment to them at the end of the day, or to the prosperity of the children. That's not funny. It's not funny that they're not, committed to the children, but it's like you chose that man. So how else can we talk about it? Like, can we lend support? No, because we lended support when we told you that this was not the man that you wanted to be with. So Haley is taking legal action against her former boyfriend and co-parent DDG. Their couple split Bailey, who is 25, accused the rapper Daryl Granberry, okay, Jr., okay. Haley got played by a man named Daryl Dwayne Granberry Jr. Okay. A physical and emotional and verbal and financial abuse. She's ordering a restraining order requested May 13th in Los Angeles County Superior Court. According to the court documents obtained by US Today, Billy and DDG share 1-year-old son. The actress and singer who revealed filing, she and DDG broke up due to his temper and lack of respect. Also claims her ex-boyfriend had made a habit of bad-mouthing her as a parent on social media, in addition to his rap career. Bailey says that his behavior has resulted in online threats and hate towards her. Look at them. She's thinking that, you know what? What do you guys think they were thinking before this picture was taken? See, I imagine him thinking like, you know what? I really made it, man. Like there's nothing else, there's nothing too much better than this. Like there's people wanting to be where I am. I'm just gonna smile and wave and play my position for real, for real. And she like, you know what? I'm about to rock. I'm about to go. Like I'm about to leave. Like I'm about to be up out of here. This nigga is crazy. He is absolutely. He think he about to. Oh my gosh. I don't really care or have an opinion on Sky Jackson and Haley Bailey. Not as mothers, not as lovers, relationships. Like I think that we saw and said what we said. We saw what we saw. He was showing a lot of red flags, but so was she. You know, I think throughout this entire relationship, it just shows you that, first of all, not even the generic, like, ain't nobody perfect. It showed you, like, look at who we idolize here. First of all, I understand that, to what my understanding is, that this is not his first time being accused of sexual assault, or not sexual assault. I apologize. That is not true. Um, of physical assault against Ruby Rose, and that he's, put hands on her as well as Haley. They said Haley was well informed on this abuse from Ruby's side of things and chose to go on with the relationship. Not only go on with the relationship, but have a child. With Sky Jackson, same storyline. Same storyline for for the overall point. It's a man who she met, who she was well aware and well informed was violent, and she continued to go on, be with that man, carry on a relationship, publicly defend him, and then it essentially become a victim in this man's abuse. And something that happens, when you're having to make a decision, um, what some professionals would say is, we want you to make an informed decision. Like, we're not going to tell you what to do. We're going to give you all of the information. We're going to let you see everything that this person has to offer. And then we're going to let you make your own decision about what you want to do. I feel the same way about Sky Jackson and Haley Bailey. I feel like they made an informed decision. Was it the right informed decision? I think we can answer that. But they made an informed decision no matter if you like it or not. They said that she met her baby daddy in jail, Sky Jackson. She met her baby daddy in jail. And I don't like that they play in her face with this picture. But okay, whatever. Um, it says here, and we're at MSN, Jackson wants to see less of her baby daddy. The former Disney star has approached the appropriate authorities to help her temporarily put her boyfriend away for after alleged episodes of physical assault by him. Sky Jackson's baby daddy was previously arrested last month following an existing misdemeanor warrant from Ohio issued after he ran into license plate bubbles in March and missed a court date. So this isn't even no real thug for real. This isn't nobody who's really doing nothing. License plate issues and just didn't go to court. That means you was pulled over, they gave you a ticket, and you just didn't want to be held accountable. Whatever. Jackson has now accused the baby father of subjecting her to abuse for over a year with alleged allegations of assault on Mother's Day. The most recent attack has prompted her to seek a restraining order in Los Angeles County Superior Court. These women are literally going through the same thing, probably within a 20-mile radius of each other. Literally, this whole scenario was filed by the same court system. And they said that she also got hit upside with the car wheel. There was something going on in the car. There was a struggle near a car with a baby, and she got harmed. Um, Jackson also details a patterns of violence, including a 6-month period in 2024 in which she alleges Bergen assaulted her weekly, and he reportedly employed physical violence such as choking, scratching, and damaging her personal property like iPhone and television. So overall, this is a man with anger issues. They were both just dealing with men with anger issues, and they thought that that was some type of cute honor, cutesy, oh, like he's crazy, don't mess with my man, right? They made an informed decision. You cannot deny that both Sky Jackson and Haley Bailey made an informed decision. They were grown. Like, if we had to put this in terms of like legality, they were both grown. They were both well within their right mind, and they made a choice. And then their choices had consequences, which was if you deal with a violent man on a serious relationship front, if he's violent to you or your family, you're at actually a higher probability of him being violent to you or your family, or subjecting your family to violence. That's just common sense. It's no degrees needed. We don't need any degrees. We can we can keep the therapist outside. We don't need any of that. All we need is a little bit of common sense. Okay? But here's what I I see happen often. I won't say this is what happened with both of these women. I think that's a stretch, but I can say what I see happen often. I see that another part of being somebody who is quote unquote black person who isn't considered hood, right? They think that there's a particular privilege in being locally and widely accepted by amongst all black people, even the lower degenerates of black people, quote unquote, the poor blacks. They think by being aligned with this type of behavior that the hype that they've seen on TV, the glitz, the glam, the Jay-Z and Beyonce, all I need in this life is sin, is me and my girlfriend, like this whole Bonnie and Clyde type of culture. They believed as young women that they were going to play into that and that they were going to get a fantasy and make permanent decisions with temporary people. Because I can't even sit there and say I've never come across a violent man. I've never been in a relationship with a violent man. I have. The difference between me and Sky Jackson is that I didn't permanently align myself with someone who I knew to be violent. I made an informed decision about my future and the future of my family. Even though I don't have a family, but I'm saying, right? Like, let's say you're with a dude, right? He's good at first, you meet him, it's all sunshine and rainbows. And then, ooh, he grabbed me a little too tight. I don't like that. He yelled a little too much. I don't like that either. Of course, these are the times where we urge people to distance themselves, leave immediately so you don't have to worry about elevated or escalated behavior. You don't want to get into a cycle of explaining away bad behavior. But these are the time when you put in a little bit of critical thinking, not just a little bit, a lot of it. Critical thinking, understanding of how the world works, and overall relationships and people. When you understand relationships are nothing more than a power dynamic, you understand what are people's motivations for being closely aligned to one another. Understanding that, you're able to make an educated or what informed decision about your body, your personal autonomy, your family, your future. Okay, that's part of being a strategic woman. That's what we talk about all the time here on my channel. And if you're new here, subscribe. So, of course, we know that they didn't make the right decision, but they did make an informed decision. So there's no coddling necessary. They chose those men. And as I said in my original video, when I was talking about the Sky Jackson debacle with her baby daddy at first, I was talking about why suburban girls love YNs. And a lot of it is because suburban girls think they're going to get their black card by messing with a degenerate black. They think by associating themselves with hood culture, they are going to be more widely accepted by black people. Now, here's my thing. I share that commonality in the sense that I'm a black person. I don't outwardly present as hood or ratchet, but I have an affinity for the hood rich culture, the hood rich aesthetic, rap, hip hop. Like I just have a love for the culture as a whole. Like it's nothing unhealthy where, okay, I'm gonna get into my spill, but I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm saying first. It's nothing unhealthy where I have any more hood aspirations. Okay. I think I'm past the point of major hood aspirations because I've grown past that way of thinking. So having a man who, oh, he's cool with Blueface, he's a rapper, he a streamer, um, he likes to do lots of different live streams with different bad biddies, and he got all the girls on his arm. That way of thinking is premature, very premature, very premature. I also think with DDG being violent towards Haley, it has a lot to do with him knowing he's never going to get nothing better than her. Like there's never going to be, not saying he ain't going to be able to move on. Those are two totally different things. He's never going to be at the credibility of shoulder to shoulder with Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's not going to happen. Not in a million years. I don't care who he gets. She could be a baddie. He's not going to get the credibility that he's gotten from Haley. He wanted Haley. Think he didn't. Think because he didn't treat her right. He didn't treat her right because he's not a good dude. It's about the character. It's not about his socioeconomic status. It's not about where he's from. I do agree that he's kind of appealed to hood culture, but he really is all around not a good dude. Because I know dudes from the hood, they're good stand up men. They take care of their families. They're hypergamous, more than a lot of women can say about their suit and tie dude. Everyone's different. But at the same time, when you read into the spirit of people, not so much what they got, you're able to make a more informed decision. I really don't take up for Haley because Haley was wilding when she was in a relationship with him. Do y'all remember? Haley, hello, Yanika. Everyone say hello to Yanika. Do y'all remember when Haley got exposed because that department store worker basically said that DDG was returning clothes and she had caught him returning clothes, trying to like turn this like expensive designer jacket, and Haley was basically verbally not assaulting, but verbally like tearing down the department worker in order to get her boyfriend a refund for his department store jacket. Like, yeah, that's how much Haley has been wilding in these streets. So to me, I hate to be the one to say, oh, this is karma. No, I don't think anything is karma, but I think that it's important to watch how you treat people who are below you, or who you perceive as below you. Because she thought it was okay to talk down to a department store worker who was calling out her boyfriend for doing something that he knew was wrong. And then when she tried to call out her boyfriend about doing things that he knew was wrong, AE texting Ruby Rose, embarrassing her in public, putting the even though he knows that his girlfriend is private and doesn't want the baby on live stream. Now you done coddled and defended this against other women because you think you're just all. This is why I hate. Okay, sidebar. Okay, before I show y'all the video, sidebar. As a server, I used to hate when couples would walk in and it was like an extra ass girlfriend, because an extra ass girlfriend, she saw the memes of a guy saying, oh, I need my girl to speak up because who gonna tell the waiter that my steak cold, or some goofy crap like that. Them girlfriends who be sitting there ride or dying at regular workers for their man and their to make sure that their man service is at the tip top shape. That needs to be studied. That needs to be studied because y'all do all of that and then behind closed doors be begging that man to be accountable, but you can't even have the capacity to see other people within the real world hold him accountable. First of all, you're standing side by side behind your baby daddy who has to like he's wearing clothes and then returning them. That doesn't scream black excellence to me. I'm sorry. Now, of course, I understand there's different strategies, and it's probably smarter to not spend $6,000 on a jacket. They probably needed that for baby milk and clothes and stuff for Halo. But look how when you start a cycle of abuse with other women, it's hard to defend you when you're okay with abusing other women on behalf of your boyfriend. When he then turns around and tries to abuse you, it's kind of like, well, we tried to tell you. The department store owner, she made a whole story time. Or she wasn't an owner, she was just a clerk. But she made a whole story time about how Haley Bailey was so rude to her because DDG was trying to return this jacket. And it was ridiculous. Like, to me, right? It's already embarrassing to be side by side behind your man, your king, and he's trying to replace a jacket that he already wore in a music video, ad you. Okay. Chanel Miller says, I think he tried going out with the department store worker after. A clown is what he is. I don't get what she saw in him. What? This is not real. He tried to go for her afterwards. Simple, just humiliation rituals, just tactics, just simple tactics to embarrass you because he knows that she went so hard for him. And she wasn't being strategic. She put herself in the line of fire, her brands, her image, her movies. She sacrificed a lot of what she had going on to make him comfortable as her man, my man. You know them girls, my man, my man, my man, my man. Like, she was trying to live up to the plate of being a my man girl so much that the man won't worth what she was giving him. And he hates her so much that he's trying to embarrass her.
Reasons I could not return this jacket. The first reason was it was smelling like cologne, very strong cologne scent. The second reason, it smelled a lot like smoke, and neither of these reasons were good enough for either of them. They were going back and forth. I told him that it's worn. The third reason, it was worn. He looked at me and he said, "You cannot prove that." And I said, "Actually, I can." And I pulled out my phone, pulled out the video, and I said, "This you?" He was speechless.
DDG and Halle Bailey have recently found themselves at the center of a controversy that left many scratching their heads. Why would they risk their reputations by purchasing an expensive jacket for a video shoot, only to return it shortly after using it and demanding a full refund?
I goes to the store and I go buy this jacket, right? When I want to return the shit, this girl gonna pull up my Instagram. That's what threw me off, because I'm like, damn, because I'm lit. I can't do what niggas been doing for ages. Everybody else can do this shit, but nigga, I do it. It's a problem. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, what's the issue? She talking crazy or whatever, boom, boom, being all rude, whatever the fuck. I'm like, all right, bet, cool. I'm gonna go to another store. I took it back. I didn't want to spend $5,000 on a weak ass jacket. When a rapper does a music video, right? They pay a stylist to do what? Go pick up clothes, and then what do? Return it. Nigga, when these rappers be wearing these clothes, they don't keep them damn clothes, bro. They get them bitches back to the stylist, and then the stylist go take it back. Now, if the jacket was hard, now I got expensive pieces. Don't get it fucked up. Like, it's been times where I done spent $10,000 just on clothes for a video, and I obviously kept the shit. But the jacket was just ass. Like, I wasn't gonna make myself keep a jacket.
Else is in there but me. I'm like, okay. She said she's like 9 minutes away, and then she like starts giving me faces. Like,
I don't know. She was trying to coddle this grown man. There's nothing else to say. She was trying to coddle him. That's all she was trying to do. You see that this man is doing wrong. Just in like just normal, dealings. I understand that it's probably a regular practice. I'm not even looking down on people for returning clothes. You got to get how you live. It's a tactic that I know people do and use, but I also don't think that that's quote unquote correct. Okay. I think that that's a ghetto thing to do, to just return clothes. I just think that's ghetto. And, Haley Bailey fought for that ghetto love. She fought for that. She fought for a man who she wanted to go off on another girl and try to deflect from the fact that he was definitely wearing clothes and trying to return clothes that he was wearing and wasn't smart enough to at least not post a picture in before he returned it. She defended him and was a part of the flying monkeys that she had around him, or that he had around him at the time, which is abusive men. They always have flying monkeys. They always have people to vouch for their character, because they very often get in situations where people have to vouch for their character. When someone has when you have a direct couple of teams who you have designated to vouch for you at any given moment, that's a problematic person, right? Because they're always in controversy. Haley was one of those people at a particular time. That has nothing to do with the assault case, though. Do I think he hit her? I won't dare. She got a restraining order. Good for her. He was acting weird. I really do think he wanted to be able to keep Haley Bailey in his control. And I think he thought that giving her a baby would make her feel a lot more subservient to, DDG than she actually did. She just moved on and kept her baby. And that's what the men are not used to in today's day. They not used to girls keeping it P, taking the L, and just taking their baby and moving on. They thinking that these girls about to keep going back and forth with them and playing that baby mama game, and the girls ain't having it. That's what I think got him messed up. They probably really broke up, and she really did cut ties with him and kept it about the child, and he wasn't able to use her in the same ways that he was. So he's not able to portray this perfect family man that he wanted to all his life. Notice that people in his in his career, they have family channels. I'm pretty sure that's what he wanted, a dream family channel with Haley Bailey and Halo. So he's trying to social climb off of Haley, and Haley wanted to get some hood credibility from, this man. And I think she also liked the way he looked. I think that it was a lot of the attraction too. She probably really liked the dreads and stuff like that. The Unica Coven says, I don't know if it's possible fruitiness, but why do so much for a man? Okay, let me reread it, because I feel like it wasn't all together. I don't know if it's my possible fruitiness, but why do so much for a man? Girl, because of the you can't keep a man culture. Now that's one thing I'll tell you, that's one. Why do girls go through all of this? Because you have some miserable lady two steps behind every single woman who's living her life or coming from a single perspective about things. Oh, she just can't keep no man. She just can't get no man. Oh, she don't got no man. Her opinion, her life isn't valuable. Where's her kids? Where's her kids? If she don't got no kids and she don't got no man, she's just not a person that you should listen to. When in real life, the gag is like older women who are single tend to be way happier than older women who are married. It's funny. Chanel Miller says, people do crazy things when they're in love. She did love him, so I'm not surprised. Why did she love him? I cannot understand. She did say she liked bad boys. Okay, here's my thing, right? I think that Haley Bailey is very spicy, very fiery, very she knows how to stand up for herself 110%. She doesn't come off as she tries to use that little squeaky voice, but under there she knows how to get things cracking. Because of that, at least verbally. Because of that, I have a strong actual like thought process that even though these women are beautiful, they're pretty, and I do think they can find other men who are better than the exes, like Sky Jackson and Haley. I think the reason why they were initially attracted to their suitors was because they were leveled down as far as mentality. Period. When you're a woman like with control issues, like people are like, "Oh, Sky Jackson and Haley Bailey could have chose anybody to have kids with and be in a relationship with." Sure. But when you're looking and you're saying, "Oh, well, I want to date particular men in my industry, or I want to date men who are doing well or better than me. I want to date men with a particular type of temperament." When you aim high, you got to be just as high. You got to be just up there as far as knowing how to treat a person, knowing how to I hate to be like, oh, know how to treat a man, but really, yeah, know how to treat a man, know how to talk to a man, know how to, not overreact, or know how to keep your emotions at bay, having some emotional restraint and control. Because if you think that you're about to crash out on a ninja who got something to lose, it's not going to happen. So the reason why I feel like both of those women opted out to date down is because they were two controlling women with a lot of success. And even though they could meet men who matched or tripled their success, they would have to change their controlling and aggressive mannerisms, and they didn't want to do it. Period. I don't know if that's true. That's just my theory. My theory. That's a theory of mine. That's a strategic theory. I feel like part of liking a bad boy is hating authority and wanting somebody to go against that authority with you. It's so rudimentary. Like when you see little girls idolize serial killers, it's like, oh, they just wish somebody would be able to. It's just weird. It's a weird thing. She did admit that she likes to confront the runaway because she's an Aries in an interview. She likes to confront then run away because she's an Aries. Her reason's not mine. Sky Jackson's pick was, whew, Jesus take the wheel. I heard she was a fake. She was fake and mean. Well, Sky Jackson, okay, imagine this, right? Sky Jackson, Disney girl, real cute. Sky Jackson was the Band-Aid brand girl. I was stuck on Band-Aid friends and Band-Aid stuck on me. Like America's sweetheart. And what it was is I think that they kind of got pushed into the same what I say, the same systems, right? So you know how I said that black men, a lot of their struggles are with violence and staying away from the prison industrial complex. I think as black women, our struggle is different. Our struggle is trying to stay away from single motherhood, poverty induced by single motherhood, and being solely responsible for children that we didn't create by ourselves. I think that's our complex. That's our, percentage. That's our plight. We try to stay away from that story, or we look down on that story as a whole. You have people who, during that Jada Wade out every time, the rapper baby mama trend. They thought it was cute to be a rapper's baby mama and have babies with fickle commitment. There wasn't any real conversations about, actually vetting, actually looking for good dudes, actually, wanting to build your family on firm foundation. And I also think, quite honestly and quite frankly, a lot of these women are arrogant and they think that not me, not me, not me. My coochie's just so good that I'm gonna be able to turn this man from the trash dude that he was. I'm gonna be able to whip him into shape. And what I usually notice with dudes is good men continue to be good men, whether you're with them or not. Bad dudes continue to be bad dudes, whether you're with them or not. And these women, they both just chose, and it's bad in the sense of not perfect men for committal men. They're not committal men. They did not choose men who are problem solvers, did not choose men who are committed to a single family household. They didn't choose men who have a grown temperament. She didn't choose a grown man. She didn't choose a man who got it out the mud or got it through prestigious connections. He didn't get it by, saving face or actually having to maintain a particular image. He got it by telling his business, linking up with pretty girls online, and social climbing off of the cute girls that he's able to get on his YouTube videos. That's how DDG has been able to get his fame. So, what I think, and this is what I'm going to do, common sense overrides race politics every time. Okay? I see all types of women choose bad situations to, you know, be with, as far as, relationships. They're thinking that it's going to be fun, it's going to be fine, it's going to be dandy, and they end up pregnant. They don't plan to be pregnant. They just end up pregnant while messing with the man that they were able to get at the time. They were able to pull. So they was able to pull, Joe Smo at the time. She just messing with him, don't got any better options, whatever. And it just goes forward. It goes forward. She keeps dealing with him. She keeps going through and through and through. And then a baby happens because people are intentional about the relationships that they're in. And that's what happens. That's why the single family households usually happen. That's why you will see people fall into single family households. Is because you know, a lot of that was just not reflected back to them. And even though those women, they had like all of the outside makings of success, they were beautiful, they were accomplished as far as career, that doesn't make you qualified to be able to pick good men and maintain healthy, long lasting relationships. Those are two totally different skills. So yeah, not them, but then she had to pick between running away or confronting issues. Yes, I've always been afraid of single motherhood, especially if my finances are bad, God forbid, regardless of social class. That is the Black girl struggle. I think that's why the 21 trend went viral. And the girls were mad about 21 and no kids. So the reason why, I think another reason women that I know are pressured to get in relationships with men and have babies young or have babies at 23 or 25, it's because look at the 21 and no kids trend. Y'all tried to sit there and tear apart regular Black girls because that was the only people who was participating. Don't nobody else care about 21 and no kids. As I told y'all, well, I didn't actually end up posting a video. I ended up like making it but never posting it. But there were people trying to make it seem like it was just a diss to brag about being 21 with no kids. So that's the crab in the barrel mentality. That's the Black fatigue. You don't ever want to see nobody doing better than you. So if you are someone who didn't want a, you're going to sit there and try to shame people who are bragging about being 21 and no kids, regardless of whether they're the happiest things that ever happened to you or not, and you would never change it. Like if you dislike single Black girls, falling a victim to being with, toxic men or men who know no good for them or know no, long-term value for their family, we have to be able to point out the signs that happen to that. The signs that happen to that is being with a man who's a womanizer. He doesn't value women. He just looks at them as social currency. Those are always going to lead you in the trash, the fire, the brimstone. leaning with men who are aggressive and believe that it is okay to harm women and, push his weight around to get what he wants. We got to be able to say that that's not okay. And then when you get a man, right, and he gets accused of some of this stuff, stop defending him. Stop. And that's another thing. And then I'm done. Stop whenever y'all meeting these men, right? Y'all, because this is one thing that people talk about, like the pop out era, like when you're with a dude and then you pop out and then people start coming through with, oh, I was just with him and all types of weird allegations. Listen to those allegations, sis. In my city, we have like something called like Are We Dating the Same Dude? You have like girls who verify before they even go on dates with people, which I do think is a little obsessive. But before they even go on dates with people, they verify like, is any funny business going on with this man? And in some scenarios, it can literally save your life. There are men who are predators, who are known for being violent, and they're just able to continue to offend people who are just not aware. He went on Diddy and Cat. Diddy had been violent. Diddy is an OG mob boss in these streets. Diddy then probably done it all at his old age. But inexperienced Cassie didn't know just how deep this man's violent tendencies goes. And then by the time she was able to figure it out, she was too deep in, the F stuff. So yeah, it's just weird. So when this is what women, I always so focus on solutions on my channel. I'm not going to just over exacerbate a problem. How you can avoid black fatigue is you can make better choices, you can make informed decisions. Okay, so if you're tired of ghetto black people, you probably should move. See, I don't have this problem because I moved a year ago from today's date. So I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I did understand, wanting a new environment, but I fed that urge in me. So now I'm around the new environment that I want to be around, and I get to control my own reality with the help of, well, I don't control anything. I just follow the reality that God thinks is best for me. But in a way, I aid into my own success by listening to what the Lord is telling me, right? If you're having black fatigue, then you need to do something about that. Sounds like you need to go ahead and hang around people that are more your speed. But it's not ghetto blacks people's fault that you can't find people that you actually connect with, even if you don't share a race with them. If you can only afford the carnival cruise, sounds like you're not making enough money to bypass the ghetto black people that you have to cruise with. Sounds like y'all are in the same tax bracket. Sounds like you need to get your money up, sir. That's something you can fix. Next time, get you a super elite cruise. You don't even have to worry about Keisha or Ray Ray even acting funny, because if any Keisha or Ray Ray can afford what you can afford, they would know how to act right, just like you know how to act right. As far as relationships, y'all have to stop sitting here and having this you can't mentality. So much so that y'all try to shame other women into putting up with anything to keep a man. And then when you get a man, you need not ignore other women who are literally trying to help you by telling you, like, hey, this man won't no good. He ain't no good. This is what he's done to me. And take warning. I don't just say listen to that. I mean, like, use that as a reason why you run. You get up out of there. I agree. But I also think that because black women are the only ones who are shamed for single motherhood, though whole 21 theme might have felt like another diss, which for some it may be, but certainly not all. Some girls were definitely trying to be funny, but some people were trying to be funny, but like I definitely understand, like, wanting to brag about that. That's breaking for some people, that's a generational curse. For some people, like, their whole bloodline was nothing but young moms. It's a blessing to be able to say, hey, I'm a young adult woman and I don't have any kids. I haven't been tied down to men in those ways. My ancestors didn't have a choice, but I had the choice. And I'm making an educated decision. Chrissy said to move away from the pores. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I don't be agreeing with all that elitist crap that people be trying to pull. I feel like some of that be fake. I get it, it's not the poor's. It's a scarcity mentality. The scarcity mentality comes from being denied rightfully earned resources. And those being denied those rightfully owned resources are not the problem of the people. Now, if the people are not aware enough to make a game plan and further elevate themselves out of a situation, then that's on the people. But the fake elitist crap, the fake privilege stuff that people have been doing online has been weird, to say the least. Like, it's just like, I get it, right? Like, you don't like poor people, but you love the rich people that make them poor or continue to rob the poor. That's just me. Not the social justice warrior, just to tell the truth, okay? Just to be honest about these people that you guys like to idolize, because y'all like to sit there and make it seem like the rich are just doing things that have never been thought of before. And then when we turn around and find out about all these billionaire moguls, most of them committed extensive amount of crimes to be able to acquire their billions, their millions, whatever money they have. So y'all love the rich and all of their crimes until it's on Front Street. And then now that y'all don't support the rich no more. So if y'all hate the poor, does that mean that you love the oppression that the rich inflicts on the poor? And if you say yes, then that's okay. But just accept that you've also drinking the Kool-Aid and that you just choose to assimilate and that your choice is no better than anyone else's. I choose not to assimilate in these ways just because I don't want to. Like, I don't want to be a boring carbon copy. I don't think that all poor people, just ain't nothing, because being born into poverty doesn't mean you're going to stay there. Okay? You don't become more valuable because you're no longer in an impoverished situation. Just like you aren't less valuable when you go from having it all to losing it, in the matter of seconds. Of course, that's just my thoughts, though. Those who complain about black fatigue are weird. They go out of their way to hang out or around or see ghetto black people, not those who happen to live in the ghetto. I can understand when was there. Okay, so there was like there was like a time where I'm gonna tell y'all a story time. Chanel Miller says, I don't think she's being serious. Just a thing of hers. I cackle every time she even said it to herself. I don't know. She sounds like Nicki Minaj. I think that you have to be careful when you have a platform of what you say. No, no one can be Miss America. I have a Miss America answer. But what you say is what you mean, no matter how much you're joking. And if that way of thinking manifests into something further, what are we to say? You know? Um, I think it's okay to value success for yourself, but it's also okay to have a healthy way of thinking of the world, which just means that I can be doing well today, but I don't own the system. All I'm doing is playing the Monopoly board, and I may be winning right now, or I may be down bad right now. But all I can do is say I'm playing the game. That's all anybody is doing, is playing the game. So I get it, but let's talk about this, right? This is why I say be careful about what you say on the line in the internet. I'm going to end this with the tailbone racking scenario, and then I'll be gone for the night, y'all. I'll really go to sleep. So tailbone rackings, I know if you don't care about tailbone rackings, you can hop off now. Have a great night. I know everyone don't care. But tailbone rackings, um, if y'all don't know, he was shot and killed by his baby's mother, a white lady who was bleach blonde. Okay. And There was a whole lot of stuff coming out. Some people were trying to speculate about the relations to her family being close to police enforcement. Um, and essentially, it's been kind of announced today that she will not be facing any charges for shooting Tailbo Rackens. And the reason why don't nobody care about Tailbo Rackens not getting no justice and this woman getting away from his killings or getting away with his killings is because Mr. Tailbo Rackens was caught online trying to be funny and disparage black women. And by saying that trying to big up his beautiful bleach blonde over here, right? And attempts to big her up, he tear down women in his own community. So much so that when his family called out for help, saying, hey, Black Lives Matter, hey, Black community, hey, people that we're invested in as a community, we need help. He was excommunicandoed, y'all. We didn't care nothing about that. We didn't care nothing about what Mr. Tailbo Rackens had to say. What did he say? He said December 17th, 2014, which a lot of people kept trying to come for me and say, oh, there's no such thing as colorism. You guys are imagining it, you dark-skinned girls. This was regular Twitter banter back in 2014 times. You would see stuff like this every day. So what he said was popular for the time. What he said was very on brand on what black men were doing in 2014 on Twitter. This is normal tweet in 2014 Twitter days. But we changed, we evolved as people. The colorism movement happened. So now we look at tweets like this and we shame it. So much so that when he ended up facing his own injustice, the community didn't care because if he had already said so much disparaging stuff about his own community online. And that's what I don't want to happen to my strategists. And a lot of you girls on YouTube that are playing Wendy Williams, so I get it. Sometimes it's okay to say like the quiet part out loud. I get that sometimes people are just very, very, they got a lot of personality. But be careful and don't be, an agent in a lot of these people's different propaganda movements because he was all in this, colorism propaganda back in the day. And then when the world needed him most, when he needed us most to defend his honor against a white woman who could have been racist and killed him and unalived him, he didn't have the support because he already wilded out on Instagram and Twitter and we were tired of it. He says, I'll F word, a dog before I F word, a black B word. It gotta be a white dog though. Okay. This is the man who is 6 feet under right now and will never see his children again because he prioritized this woman's skin tone over her spirit. He prioritized how she looked, what she meant for him, the societal advantages that would have been associated with him being a black dude with this white girl. He prioritized pseudo privilege over the community and got excommunicandoed from our protection. Don't end up like Tailbo Rackens trying to be funny online. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay? So that's just been my thoughts. That's what I have to say. That's it. That's all I had to say. Y'all, I'm done. What do y'all want me to say? Is there anything else y'all want me to cover before I go? Because it's very important for y'all to aid what I'm saying. Tragedy can hit you. You're not invincible. So before you get online talking crazy, understand that you're going to have to answer to what you say. Like your voice is a key identifier in who you are, okay? Life is not all sunshines and rainbows. I don't come on here trying to give that mentality. Like I get it. Put ourselves, best foot forward to try. We also want to make sure that we're representing ourselves right. I can see, certain respectability politics being used to get what you want. But when you let the respectability politics become you and corrupt you to the point where you think you're above the program, you think your respectability, politics creates a Superman cape for you, you have to understand that that is fake. We play the game, we aren't the game. And understand that you really never win. You really never win. Um, you never win when you're, trying to uphold other systems outside of, you know, being holy in the Lord. Like for real, like this the only thing I can say. When you're trying to appeal to different systems and you put your faith in those and in man, you always end up being disappointed. Yeah, I can hate ghetto black people, but ghetto black people didn't create themselves, okay? Yes, I can want more for myself, but I also don't have to look down on people who have accepted where they're going to be. I can be realistic and I can be balanced. I can create real, relationships that are going to aid in my overall goals while not just introducing myself to that same sin, which is part of being judgmental and looking down on people and having your nose up in the air. It can start on YouTube. But I know firsthand of listening to something on YouTube and then walking around trying to use talking points and make them stick in real life. And most of the time, they're fake. These talking points, they don't apply. It's hard to apply them in real life. The internet is a very wicked and fake place, very half baked, in my opinion. But that's been the Strategic Feminine here on YouTube. I always tell y'all, be good people, be holy people, read the word and spread the word. Um, I'll probably do another live stream very soon, very, very soon. This probably won't be the only one. I'll be dropping more videos. It's Pretty Girl Spring, Pretty Girl Summer, and then we getting cute, keeping it popping. I gotta find someone to do my hair today. Um, and then I'll be dropping more content hopefully next week. So just stay up for that. I'll be also doing randomized live streams, call in friendly always, but always you guys can leave your pictures, your comments. I do have an email that you can send video ideas. I do take suggestions. But outside of that, that's all. Thank you, and thanks for watching. Chanel Miller says good night, and I say good night to all of you too. Um, Before y'all get off of here, if you take nothing else I say, like any type of way seriously, read the Bible, because a lot of the stuff that, like a lot of the questions that I have will be answered simply just in verses and phrases and passages. And ask questions too. Like if you're frustrated about something, if you're frustrated about your position in the world, like ask the Lord about that. And he will make it clear to you that you deserve nothing and to be grateful for everything that you have. You know what I'm saying? But to also not look down on the next person for not having what you have. Um, there's another passage in the Bible. There was the Pharisees, and there was like they were both praying. One of the men was saying, "Thank God that I'm not like this other dude, because this other dude, he's a beggar. He's the scum of society. I praise Jesus that he didn't make me like you." And then the other man, he said, "I thank God for being here because I know I'm a sinner. I know, I should be considered the lowest of society, but you saved me." Who do you think the Lord accepted? The person who was pointing fingers, comparing and contrasting, or the person who was taking accountability, real accountability for their problems, their flaws, and trying to fix it and be in the will of God overall? So, yeah, that's what I think. Bye.